Of course, there's the champagne which he got as part of the awards ceremony, but we were the ones to actually burst the bubbly and enjoy the drink. He doesn't drink to this day, and there are many of you who know him here. We were making more noise than him. And in the next day, he was sitting quietly in what we called the ladies' lounge. There were only 2 television channels, BBC One and BBC Two. He was watching the BBC Two program. I said, Prakash, is that you? We have got up so late. He's finished his breakfast. I said, what's with it? Is there been some bad news? And he says, I just won one All England. There are many more triumphs to achieve that I have in mind. So he had celebrated, and the next day he was back to his plan. The second incident is I've had the extreme pleasure and honor to work with Infosys and worked very closely with Mr. Narayan Murthy and the founders of Infosys through what was very seismic, what was quite a change for Indian businesses. That is an Indian company, Infosys, listing for the first time in the United States. There was no Indian company with shares listed in the United States, and this was a new beginning. We started in 1997, and when we listed in March 1999, it was in New York. Again, the bubbly was passed around, the champagne flowed, the dinners were had, and we met in the same place, unfortunately, where the aircraft crashed into the restaurant on the 110th floor of the World Trade Center in New York. That's when we had the celebration. But thankfully, we left that place, and next day we went across to the wine resorts and valleys in California. Again, there were some speeches and there were some awards and rewards given. But I found, to my delight, alone in the bar. Here's another gentleman who doesn't drink. None of my friends seem to drink here. The important thing was, everybody was there, people were buzzing, but he was sitting alone. I said, Mr. Murthy, a penny for your thoughts. And he had just raised $65 million in the US. And he says, Ravi, it's one of relief. We have done the easy bit. We have now listed our company. We've become the first from India to do so. But look at the expectations on us. So there was again humility, whereas the whole of India, the television channels back home, was celebrating a momentous occasion. So I think attitude, and that is why both of them have achieved so much in life, not just in the business or sporting one, but in the personal one. So the number 3 is the P. We have finished CA of capture, and there is the P. P is pride in oneself. There's a simple test I'll give you, my friends. Very simple test. How well do you do when nobody is watching you, or you know that nobody will know or get to know what you're doing? That is how I personally have defined pride in myself right from the beginning. It is not ego, it is not thinking too much of yourself, but being proud of what you do and what you represent. I think that is a core ingredient of all the prize winners today. That's why they're going to be coming up and picking prizes. They have a pride in what they do. And that needs to be awarded and rewarded. So this may seem a very obvious thing. Everything I'm saying is very obvious. But seldom have I found people adopting 1 or 2 or 3 of them, let alone all the 7 that I'm going to talk about. So the pride in yourself is a very key ingredient. I think doing the little things. For example, excellence comes from doing the things you do not like well. We all like to do the things we like to do. But who does things that you don't like well? I don't like brushing my teeth in the morning. I hate brushing my teeth. But I have to do it well. Otherwise, my dentist is going to prosper rather than me. 50, 60, 70% of our lives is doing things we don't like. Right now, I don't know how many of you is liking listening to me. It's Sunday evening, Christ. You got better things to do. The bar is open. I'm just making you suffer by making you sit there and listen to me. It's how well you listen, perhaps, which produces that award of excellence, right? So don't forget that somebody is looking and you are looking at you. And you've got to do the things, that is the difference. The things that you don't like, you've got to do them excellently. Because that makes the difference. Perhaps that is the difference between me, who is not getting an award, who has seldom got any awards in his life, and the awardees today. Okay, I'm through with P now. Perhaps you'll feel sorry for non-Sindhis once, sometime in the future, on that count, and you will have at least one award, Mr. Suresh Bhatia and his committee, one award for a non-Sindhi, and maybe I can apply for it sometime in the future. Okay? Yeah, okay. I can't apply, can I? Sorry, I thought this was like Miss India or, Mr. India. Okay, fair enough. So we have finished with the CAP, the cap is over. Now we enter a very key thing. In the middle of the 7 is the T, capture the moment. I will take you back more than 25 years. I married this young lady from Bangalore, Mount Carmel College. I'd spent several years in London. And then I said, I'll start my married life on the canals of Amsterdam. How much more romantic can it be? So I did the easy thing, got myself a transfer from London to Amsterdam, and good old KPMG is the best tourist agency in the world, 160 countries. So if you like tourism, join KPMG. So here I was in Amsterdam working in the World Trade Center, and I love driving. My wife also likes sitting around and driving along highways or even small streets. And we used to go out every weekend. Holland is a beautiful country, Germany, 1 or 2 visits close by. But what we never ever did, we did not capture the moment of doing a drive-through in Europe. You know what I said to her? We finally decided we'll go back to India. We got stuck in Dubai for 6 years on the way, but I was not to know that. I said we'll come back, not next summer, but the summer after that, and drive across various parts of Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife and I, after 30 years of marriage, still haven't done it. So don't miss the moment. Whether it's in your business life, the sportsmen amongst us, the sportswomen amongst us, will understand this better, because a moment can change it. There is a story about the moment. Abhinay Bindra is the only individual gold medalist in the Olympics ever. It's quite a pathetic thing. I think talking about excellence, we need more excellence and more awards and rewards for it. Only one gentleman, one human being from this country has won an individual gold medal. You know what he did? This is my favorite story. If I'm down in the dumps, if I want to inspire myself, I think of this story. Abhinay Bindra was fortunate. He's a very rich father. He had his own shooting range. He did everything. And then in the 2004 Olympics in Sydney, he failed miserably. He didn't reach the finals. 2008, he was not going to let the moment go. Yeah, it's true. The phone rings. Okay? It is true. This is written in his book. Okay, page 146 if you want to read it. Right? So what did he do? He wondered why the Chinese did so well in shooting. And he wanted to find out why the Chinese won so many medals. He then discovered, or process of elimination, realized that it could be the pellets. Bullets, as we people know it, the shooters call it pellets. These pellets. So he went to China, he says in his book, and tried to procure them. The Chinese are such loyal people, they didn't give it to him. They didn't give him bullets before the Beijing Olympics. So he got his friend in Hong Kong to get him bullets, 10,000 bullets. Hong Kong, so it's very close to China and they feel less threatened. He brings 10,000 bullets to Chandigarh, somewhere there he lives, to his place. And you know what he does? He buys himself a microscope. He puts 10,000 bullets under the microscope. If there was a slight bump in the bullet or there was a scratch, it would go into the trash bin. He won the gold medal using those same bullets. He realized he put his gun into a vise and shot the German bullets and the Chinese bullets. He says that is the difference between gold and nothing. But that's the trouble he took. So the devil, they say, is in the detail. I don't know why they ever say that, because the God for me is in the detail. You cannot divorce excellence and detail. We seem to forget that. The moment we get success or seemingly believe we have success, we forget the detail. The detail we leave to our flunkies, to our juniors, whereas we forget that that was what brought us to where we were in the first place. That is why we see so many Indian businesses not making it. If you read today's Economic Times, look at the jokes and the successes in the startups. Look at it. Please read that article. It is over 1, 2, 3, 4 pages in today's Economic Times. The people who are running away from the startups because the initial success they get, they raise more money and they throw it into unsustainable, undoable things. So I think you can't leave the T out. The moment has to be captured. The U is very simple, utilize networks. This is a great example. But you Sindhis must do this award. I think one of you needs to promise me that before I hit any food today, and do one for a non-Sindhi. But this is a great example of utilizing networks. I think we tend to devalue, especially in our country, the value of networks. Even your supplier is a network person. We tend to devalue suppliers. We tend to devalue people whom we don't see in our businesses, in our lives. You know, the coach, when you see a sports person getting an award, they always thank the coach because the coach is the one right in front telling them things. But what about the people who supported them? You tend not to compliment them. What about the groundsman in cricket? Yeah, very few. What about the ball boy or ball girl in tennis? Okay, so let's not forget the ball boys or the ball girls in tennis, football, table tennis, business, or whatever we do, and utilize our networks. It's the most powerful thing. I love LinkedIn and Facebook. They are uniting the world, and we cannot let those go. I would urge you, today is Sunday, even if it's a bit late, to call a friend, to call an old supplier, to call an ex-customer of yours, and say, let's meet for a coffee this week. You know, what it does to you is uplifting. So utilizing networks, there are only two things left. R in capture is resilience. Resilience is just not giving up. I think again I'll have to delve into the sports world because resilience is falling and getting up, falling and getting up, stumbling and getting up, stumbling and jumping. And in the sports world, this has to happen almost instantaneously. In some businesses, we have time to think. We can do a strategy. We can call our senior people, and then you do an offsite and come up with a new strategy. But in sport, you have very little time to recover. You know, Saina Nehwal, I was watching her game today. She won the Australian Super Series. She had lost the first game, 10-all in the second game and losing. She won it. You need to pick yourself up. This is the quality of excellence that I've seen time and time again. The most successful businessmen and women that I have seen are the ones who are able to get up the fastest. All of us fall, but we tend to remain there for some time. We feel sorry for ourselves. So resilience in capture is one of the key things. I'll end with E. Any prizes for guessing what the E is today? Absolutely. E for excellence. And then you can't get better examples than the people we have in Bangalore, from the business world, from the sporting world. We have such icons, people who are not just good at doing one thing, they also happen to be good people. I think if you look at people who get awards, who excel, are also good people. They are good people to themselves, to others, and to their business networks. So I think excellence is something which comes out right from the grassroots. The other thing that is an absolute no-no, and a lot of us, see, those who aren't getting any awards today needn't be discouraged. People like me, there is still hope, I think. I keep telling myself, so what do I keep telling myself? This is a story I keep, telling myself and reminding the whole system that I am internally. This is very peculiar to Bangalore. So, sir, you are from Bombay, I believe. But in Bangalore, there is a word in Kannada, which is, the mnemonic is SAM, S-A-M. Swalpa adjust Madi. Swalpa means little. Adjust, everybody knows. Madi means make.
One thing
Yes, sir.
still what you are talking, I appreciate, I admire. But one thing I don't like it.
Sure.
When you are using words, sir, it means still we are slaves.
Yeah.
If British are saying,
Yes.
to me,
Yes.
this is, sir, I feel proud. Indian says, I feel still we are slaves.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
never ever say, sir, to anyone.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, but there are a lot of cultures still in our schools and colleges. We tend to say it. Terima. Eppadi theriyum, sir?
1968,
Huh?
I was in Trichy.
Oh.
Walking the street, safe time, that time.
Huh.
That culture is so rich. When I am in bus, Ukaranga say, that I was young, in 16-year age. So you see,
ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರೋಲ್ವಾ ಸರ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಮಿಳ್ ತೆರೆಯೋ
but that time, lot of confusion, Ambat and Jamba.
Even I, don't worry. Char or panch, I don't know.
I told someone, Ora, Opa.
So